All right, chapter 4 in Sententiae. So this first one is number 8, bonus Daphnis, amicus meus, otium et vitam agriculae amat. So getting right into it. So I'll go ahead and start with the verb amat from amo, amare. Track back and find all our nouns. Tells us that Daphnis is a name. We know amicus by now. We've seen that quite a few times. Otium may be new. You may have had it in another part. Vitam and agriculae. All right, and then kind of everything else. We know bonus is an adjective. Good or kind. Meus we've seen before. That's the personal. And then this is our conjunction. Right. Okay, so starting with the verb, amat from amo, amare from your vocab list there. So we've dropped the re and we've added a t. Hopefully by now you're getting more familiar with the verb endings, but in case you need a reminder, if you look in the top left, you'll see that that is third person, singular, present, since we have just added a t to the second part. So by that we know that our subject is going to be singular, so whatever is nominative, and that checks out with this Daphnis, right? We are told that is their name, that's their character, so they are nominative singular. That's who we're talking about. I believe masculine. Okay, so that matches up with our verb. Bonus here, right next to it, pretty easy draw, even though they're not US on the ending here, right? They differ. Daphnis is just as a regular nominative form, so bonus takes the masculine nominative singular. So while it's not visually the same, they do agree in gender number case. So moving on, we have amicus, from amicus, amici, very straightforward, nominative singular, masculine. And same thing for meus. I won't write that out. But you can see how this modifies amicus. Go ahead and take a moment. Can you remember what turn of speech it is called when we have two nouns that are next to each other to describe them in further? I'll give you a sec. If you can't remember, that is apposition. So we are describing Daphnis even further with amicus meus. Well, mainly amicus for the apposition noun. All right. So now let's move on to, well, where Daphnis clearly loves something. He amats, right? So what is he loving? Well, we need a direct object. So the first noun we have down here is otium, right? That comes from otium, ote. So it's a neuter, second declension noun. And you can see that that could either be our accusative singular or our nominative singular. However, we already know what our subject is in this sentence. So it's just logical that it'll be our accusative singular and it's neuter. Et is just a conjunction, right? And vitam, with that comes from vita, vitae. So we're in the first declension, all the way on the left there. The only ending that has the am in the first declension, the am is right here, means that it has to be accusative singular. So we actually are having two direct objects, right? We have this is a direct object 1, this is direct object 2, and they are linked by this and. Lastly, we have agriculae from agricula, farmer. So it's first declension, although it is a masculine gender, But it takes first declension endings, and with I, the AE ending, we have a couple different choices. So we have that genitive singular again, we have dative singular, and we have nominative plural. We already know that our subject is, we've defined that, and it's not plural, so it's not that. So it should either be to the farmer or of the farmer. So I'll write that both for now. And it's actually masculine because it's a regular word, but so now we can get into translating, and let me drop this chart. So we have bonus Daphnis. Say kind or good. Good is kind of the general use for bonus. Good Daphnis. Amicus meus, my friend. And he's not like talking to him, he's just describing him as his friend, which is its apposition, right? It's not like evocative, like direct address. So good Daphnis, who is my friend? What is he doing? He loves otium, leisure, spare time, et for and, vitam agriculae, the life to the farmer? No, the life of the farmer, the farmer's life. I'm actually going to write lifestyle. So you can see how we had to kind of make that decision about which use that we have going on here while we're translating. So yeah, number 8 done, easy. Number 10, a little shorter, although we have a kind of a comparative sentence going on here. So just going back to our normal process, scanning here for the verb, and lo and behold, surprise, it's at the end. It's actually amo again. So our verb is the same. We're talking about loving something. Though, from amo, amare, so we already know, first person, singular, present, right? I love. So I, singular, am going to be the subject of this sentence. We've seen meus, usaum, adjective before. I actually have written this wrong. It is amicam. Amicam. So yeah, so I am the subject. So now we need to scan our nouns, right? So we have amicam, amica, amici, it's like a female friend or a girlfriend. So if we go our first declension chart, you'll see that the am, like we've seen before, the am means that it's accusative singular. Mayam, you can kind of see because they end the same, right? Am, we have that agreement there. So moving on, you can see the same kind of principle. Os, will have this agreement. But oculus, like the VR device, it means I. So it is second declension masculine. So if you go to the second declension chart and you go to OS, oh look, there's only one option. And so that means it has to be accusative plural. And the same for meos. It's accusative plural masculine. So we're pretty much ready to go here. The book tells you this. You'll learn more about this earlier, or not earlier, later. But modus quam means more than, so it's kind of a comparative, like I was mentioning earlier. So let's start. So we haven't seen the word ego in this sentence, so I'm going to have to supply it since I know that I am the subject. So I will say I love, am loving, present. What? Well, whatever's in accusative. So let's start in the beginning here. So I love my girlfriend. Marisquam. Meos oculos. So in both cases, I'm loving them, right? I love my eyes and I love my girlfriend, but I'm comparing the two. I love it more than. So the amo applies to, there's two direct objects being taken here by the amo. Right, easy. So I put down number 14 here. Next, because I thought it was a good longer sentence. You know, you see in Wheelock a lot of times you just do fragments of sentences without context, so this has a little more context provided when we go into the next. Also has examples of imperatives, which I'm not sure is introduced in this chapter, but it will be a good preview. So let's start out here on 14. So we have mali sunt in nostro numero. Okay, so we've seen mali before. Mali comes from malus, aum. So we know this is some sort of adjective, either a substantive or an attributive. Sunt, that's a verb. It's a form of sum, right? In is a preposition. I'll go ahead and close it off down here. Et, we already know, is our conjunction, right? Just writing those above you to help you out. That is a noun right there. This is a noun. This is a noun. And look, we actually have another verb, which is at the end of the sentence here. So there's two verbs going on here, divided by the et. So that et is kind of our dividing line. So we'll start with everything to the left of the et. So starting with the verb, generally good idea. Sunt, form of sum, irregular. So you'll have to just remember that that is a third person, plural, present, right? They are, or there are, if you don't have a subject. Mali, usaum, noun, right? So mali, it's at the start of the sentence. So taking usaum into account, we're going to make a educated guess and inference that this is going to be nominative plural, although it's an adjective. So let's start out here. We don't need the preposition, right? That's just detail. So let's see if I can do it over here and you can see it still. So since we don't have a direct subject really here, we'll say there are, implying it from the sunt. There are what? Mali. There are evils. And I think in this case, it's not evils in terms of, it's a substantive adjective and not in terms of evils, as in like bad things, but evil people. Or bad people. There are evil people. In nostro numero. So we've already seen in as our preposition, right? It takes the ablative or the accusative. So that's what we're looking for. Numero is the other noun. So we're looking for an object of the preposition. Numero we've seen before. Numerus, numeri. Second declension masculine. Noun, it means a number or a rank or a category. So if you go to that declension chart, you look at O, and it can be dative or ablative singular, right? I think you can take a guess. Ablative singular. And now, very picked out here, but we have OO. It actually tells you in the book that nostro is a personal adjective. Well, it's one form of a personal adjective from nostra. meaning hours, right? So gender, number, case, agreement here. So not in the number, but in our number, in our rank, in our tally. Or a number of people, right? Group. In our number. And from the at, now we move on. And day, that's a preposition. Which takes the ablative. That's something that looks like the object. That's an ablative. So I'll close it off there. We have aurum, good indication from bonus that the adjective that you're going to have that modifying the other aurum. Virorum comes from weary. Second declension masculine again. Aurum, we can figure out what that is. So genitive, plural, masculine, the same. The last thing we have is exitio. It means a destruction or ruin or downfall. Exitium, exitii, second declension masculine or second declension neuter. You can see that in the vocab list. So exitio, similar to nostro numero, it could be dative or ablative singular. And since it's next to a preposition, it's a strong guess that it's an ablative singular. Okay, so the last one is codicant. That's the verb. That's the thing that's kind of governing the sentence. You can see that it has an nt. So it comes from coditare. So we've added an nt and dropped the ray. So we've seen this one plenty of times. Third person, plural, present, amongst others descriptors. So that is a they cogito. They think. They plot, right? Consider. So we have there are evil people in our number, and they are planning, considering they are planning what? De etcito. So we're going to put the preposition here, right? About. They're planning regarding. Maybe thinking would be better here instead of planning. The downfall. The ruin. What? Bonorum, virorum. So virorum is your genitive, so it's of the men. Bonorum makes it of the good men, right? Or of good men. And a lot of times, good men is a substitute for like senators or optimates. But I'll just write it as good men. So moving on, we have bonus aduavate. So os here, bonus os makes that an accusative, plural, masculine. And adiawate, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but if you drop the re of the second part and add a te, that is a plural imperative. So that is a command, right? To do something like, fight them or to run away, and you're commanding someone to do something. So in this case, it's aduawate, which comes from aduo, which means to help or to aid, to help out. So, not just he is helping out, but help them, right? So how would we translate? Well, who's being helped? Well, what's an accusative? So help, this is to an audience, right? Someone a group. Help who? The good. The good what? The good men, right? The good people or the good men. The good men, the same guys of the bonorum virorum. So that subject is being, the bonus is referring to those people. Keeping on that, we have conservate, to conserve, right? To protect. Same thing with the te, right? We drop the re at the te, so it's a plural imperative as well. That is our verb. I'll circle it to be consistent with the sap. But another plural imperative. So you can see the pattern there. So now this is a call to action. So we're saying to conserve whatever, right? Whatever we find is an accusative coming up. So conserve, patria, patriae, first declension. So we have patriam, accusative singular, feminine. Populum, populus, populi, second declension, accusative singular, masculine. This is an adjective, usa. So this is just the same thing as populum. So how do we translate that? Well, we have two direct objects, right? Patrium and populum. So conserve what? Patrium. Conserve or protect. I think protect actually might be a better use here. The patria, the nation, the country. And at the populum Romanum. I guess you can kind of see where we're getting there, and the Roman people. Fantastic. All right, so that's all the ones that I picked out of difficulty in chapter 4, Sententiae. So thank you.